want Fidel to give me a signal when he's ready to transition to the next thing, because I just remembered something that we have to talk about.
Go ahead.
The commissioner for the systemic racism.
Oh,
How did we
shit, yeah.
forget? Hold on. Wait.
Get it out. You couldn't even get it out.
I couldn't.
Try
The
again.
thing I have been waiting to talk about since I looked at our receipts, May 4th, has finally happened.
Wow.
I would almost sing God Save the Queen, but she had no hand in this at all. If anything, she probably would not like the color of the person who has been chosen for the role this many months later.
Honestly, shout out to Manju, which I know, great person. She will be the person that will be doing this role. I mean, shout out to her. Now, I myself think this is a trap. Nothing's gonna get accomplished because they just need to get it over with. But I will say they picked a really good person to do it. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere, but it's not gonna be Manju's fault. That's all I have to say about that. So you guys can go ahead and say what you want to say.
The only thing I wanted to add was that they gave the extension so that Manju still has a full year and the deadline isn't March 2022. So they are trying to make it seem like they want actual work done. And I also just find it really interesting that they finally announced the choice of the Friday of the week of the election, because it makes me feel a bit like they maybe would have tried to back out of it had the election gone a different way. That's at least the feeling that I get. I just find it really weird that they would wait from May until the week of this election to finally announce this person. Very happy that it's a woman of color. I mean, I don't think good is going to come out of this because, like we've already discussed in a previous episode, they're not going to tell any person of color from New Brunswick what they do not know, what research hasn't already been done. And I don't believe that the Conservatives are going to look at this report that says that they're racist and then implement any kind of change. So cool. Thanks for finally doing it. I can finally stop talking about it every week.
Clinton, what do you have to say about it?
I mean, they finally picked someone and it wasn't a white person. Can you imagine if they had have picked a white person? I don't know enough about her to really comment or have any judgment, because I've already heard a flurry of different commentary about the person who was chosen for it, negative and positive, and sort of I've heard commentary on the reasons she was chosen. But Fidel, you say you know her and you think she's a great person and she'll do a good job. If I had to make any sort of forecast, I would, agree with the lines that Hillary is on in saying that probably nothing much will amount of this anyways. They're not going to be telling anyone of color something that we didn't already know, and that most white people didn't know. So this is just a research or a study. Who cares? They're going to be making recommendations. Great. We'll see if any get implemented. That's what's always important. If the results of these surveys or amalgamation of all this data that's been available from Indigenous peoples and Black communities that have already been doing these surveys and research for years, will any recommendations and suggestions be implemented in New Brunswick under a Conservative government anytime soon? If the answer is no, then what's the point? Again, it was just a PR stunt to shut the people up, to let them know that you guys have been saying we're not doing anything for years. Well, look, we did something, now be quiet. It's all media PR. So, if there is any recommendations made and anything, the results of that, then one step forward is sometimes better than a step backwards. So we'll see.
Now, I will say this, and I don't think it's a conservative or a liberal problem, because I think personally they would done the same thing. I don't really think it is. I think it's a probably. I think it's a let's put this money so people don't complain. That's basically what I think. However, how this is built, again, I knew some of the people that were kind of involved or applied to this. And there was a couple of people that I thought they will do a good job, but they will push and push and push and push, and nothing will get done, but they will push. And that's going to be a problem. That could be a problem for the government. There are people that weren't going to do absolutely nothing, that they were intelligent people, and nothing was going to be done for the government. And there was one person, which I don't think was the right fit. Very intelligent person. But again, I don't think nothing would have been done for the government. I think the problem in New Brunswick, particularly, is that until we don't have MPs that give a flying fuck about racism, nothing's going to get done. And I don't see a priority in that, because if you look at the stats, the people that vote the most are senior citizens. The people that vote the most are white. Why, if I'm an MP that know this information, which they all know, will actually care? This is why they should care. The reason why they should care is because this senior citizen won't be alive in 5 years. We need immigration. Somebody needs to pay that tax bill. And because we need to pay this tax bill, we need people in. Uh, that's the reason why they should care. And that has always been what the liberals and the conservative has said. They all have tried the different things. Nothing has worked. But the fact is that I think no person, and again, I think Manju will do a good job, but she has no power, zero power to do any change. She could do the best job ever, but it's only to the MPs and the government to enforce this, which, if you know what the politics are, people just don't, right now, they don't care. They will eventually, but right now, they don't care. So, again, I think I don't think it's, I would, you would have put the liberals in the same position, and nothing, it will be the same thing, yeah, until something gets enforced. So again, congratulations to Manju Barna. I think she's a great qualified person, and the other people that qualified. I'm not gonna say their names because they may not want it to be known, but also they were very qualified. I think a lot of intelligent people that do care about racism, that do care about progress in the province, applied for it, and I think they mean very, very well. I just don't think that the government uh, understands it or will understand it when it doesn't bring them any votes. So
You've had some great points tonight, but I think you need to ask less questions and start just spitting fire all the time. Between this and the Green Party, I'm just very, very impressed. Maybe I'm just
When
normally tired.
when has Fidel not had great quotes?
No, I feel like he's usually asking all the questions. And this time
for sure.
he took time to be like, let me have a little moment about the Green
Yeah, no
Party.
doubt.
And
No
then
doubt.
this as
Okay.
well. I was just like, yes, exactly.
well, it's also that the thing about it is that we all know this. This is a podcast that talks about, we talk about everything that is good, bad, and ugly about it. And again, this podcast was in the Brian Gallant government, and we can't say that Brian Gallant did anything for people of color or immigrants. So he didn't do anything, and he was a liberal. Blaine Higgs is a conservative, and again, I don't think it's either or. It doesn't even matter if the NDP or the Greens do it. Well, the Greens probably because they have more diversity in New Brunswick, so their candidates would be more diverse, maybe. But until we don't get diverse candidates and we get diverse people elected, I think it's just not going to work. I don't care who you put there; it's just not going to function. So
I find New Brunswick to be a really weird province in the sense that, other than the conservatives, I find that the parties here in New Brunswick don't seem to necessarily have the same mantra or policies or viewpoints as the federal parties themselves. The NDP, we said this a couple of weeks ago, they seem very different than sort of what Jagmeet Singh is doing. The Green Party seems very different here in New Brunswick than in in Ottawa. And to be honest, so do the Liberals. New Brunswick is kind of like northern New Brunswick is liberal and southern New Brunswick is conservative, but they don't necessarily have the exact same philosophies as you see coming out of Ottawa and stuff like that.
And that's by default because I don't know if you guys know the Green Party of New Brunswick and the NDP of New Brunswick have nothing to do with the federal NDP or the federal Green Party. They're
What do you mean
totally different.
officially?
Yeah, they're totally different parties, technically.
That's crazy. So you're out here
Wait,
voting
what?
for, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on,
How
say
could that
that
even
again.
be? Like it's very clicky, is what I was about to say. But what do you mean?
Okay.
They're not they're not affiliated. Like they're plagiarizing the name. Like they
No.
should be the orange and purple party. Or oh wait, there is a
Okay. So
purple party
here's how it works.
and an orange
The
party.
provinces are what you could call
Blue and yellow.
some
Oh, there's
some
a blue.
sort autonomous. So
Okay.
because they're autonomous, the Green Party of New Brunswick has different values for their mandate in the province that they're in than the Green Party of Ontario. So they don't have the same values. They have some, but they don't have the Green Party federally has different values than all the provincial parties.
That
So they
doesn't
don't
make
have the same
any sense.
values.
They need
So
more
then what are
colors. They
you
need
voting
coral,
for?
yellow,
Yeah,
cyan.
Cyan.
yeah. So they don't have the same values, and that makes sense just because of the fact that in a province like New Brunswick, you need different things than Ontario. So whatever the Greens are doing in Ontario or federally, that won't apply to New Brunswick because they don't have that problem.
But
So
then, I
You're
don't-
voting
well,
for your party here, though, in the federal
exactly
election for the person to get elected here to send to Ottawa,
correct.
but they're all going to have different agendas.
Correct. Because what happens is that again, that's why we have a parliament provincial, and that's why we have a federal. Because the federal is the one that regulates within the whole country, and the provincial is the one that regulates within the province. So they will have provincial rules and they will have federal rules.
But when I voted just now, and I picked the person that I picked,
Uh-huh.
and then that person won my riding. Isn't that a one for Justin? So but don't you have to think about that? Like, I don't understand how
Okay.
you can fully vote for the person in your riding and not consider what that means for the person going to run your country.
And this is why again, this is why I always say people need to learn about politics, because what affects you provincial doesn't affect you federally. It's not the same thing. uh the
I would say politicians need to learn about colors and how many there are, and that there's millions, and that they don't have to confuse us with these 5 or 6 fucking colors.
they can, but one of the things that we how Canadian politics, just to put it in a summarize, is that the MPs that we elect federally, they go to Ottawa. And the reason why
Yes.
we're supposed to vote for them is because the party that they are in supports certain things that will benefit us federally. Now, that doesn't mean that the Liberals in Ontario are going to do the same things that the federal Liberals are going to do.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that here in this area, when I voted for Liberal candidate Julie Dabussin, I voted for her knowing that if she got elected in this riding, that would increase Justin's chances of being prime minister. Knowing that the values are maybe not the same, that they're not going to do the same thing, that they don't have the same power. But that's still how it works, right? Like, because now I'm just trying to think that if the Green Party is just like its own thing in each province, you would still vote for them if you wanted if you believed in Annamie Paul and wanted her federally. Isn't that what you have to do?
For a
At the
federal
same time,
election.
though, you also have to believe that the person you voted for, if she wins, when she goes to Ottawa, she's hopefully going to campaign and do things to improve your riding and vouch for you and fight for you in your riding.
Je comprends.
But what you have to understand, and this is the key, there's federal elections and the provincial elections, right? So who you voted is to send to Ottawa so the Liberals federally can run the country. That doesn't mean they run Ontario laws, which is the Conservatives.
Yes.
Now, what you also have to take in consideration is what Clinton says, which is a very good point. The point is that this person will vouch for your writing. However, in order for them to do anything for your writing, they need to get a consensus from the party and getting to a majority vote. So one person cannot do it by their own. They have to get it into a consensus to do it. So what usually happens is that everybody does a vote thinking what's best for the country, not necessarily the writing, but will it benefit that writing? And that's how people vote.
Mhm.
So
I guess I did understand all of that, and I have been voting correctly. I just find that more confusing if you're going to say that the Greens in New Brunswick,
are
like that
wearing,
they don't have to like have uphold the same values of what they're saying federally. And now I'm with Clinton. Find maybe like just different shades of green if you want to sort of be with the Greens. Like chartreuse is a really nice color. I remember learning the word chartreuse on Blue's Clues. Evergreen, even emerald. There's options.
and again, not saying, and again, I know people are going to comment, not saying that they are not aligned. They align in values, but they don't have the same values. Some values they may have similar, or they may have it, but they don't have all the values aligned. So that's what we'll take. But anyways, Green Party, get your shit together. NDP of New Brunswick, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, good luck with whatever the hell you have here, but I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, the NDP in New Brunswick is it's crazy. I mean, it is a crazy. Whoever's in the NDP, I feel in the NDP of New Brunswick, I feel sorry for them just because of the fact that they don't do anything,
They have
absolutely anything.
there's a lot of drama internally among them as well. There's a lot, yeah. I like the NDP's values. I align with them more than liberal. Um, yeah, there's the NDP in New Brunswick could be and do a lot more.